He was wearing shoes that let the cold in, and he had to use a cane steady on those cold feet. You could tell he hadn't been well for a while, and he could definitely use a little something more to eat. But he didn't seem to mind the cold. He had a warm smile that told the truth. That was my first thought. When I saw that young man that was begging money on Christmas Eve outside the Christmas tree lot. Now I usually shy away from folks asking for money, but I reached for my wallet as we walked up. And he said, "Merry Christmas, God bless you, sir," as I dropped a couple dollars in his cup. And he went on to say that he was sorry. He said, "I know that begging hard-earned money from people isn't right. But tomorrow's Christmas, and I'm broke. But I promised my girls that I'd bring home a Christmas tree tonight." He said, "I want you to know this is the first time I've ever asked money or help from anyone. But I just got out of the hospital today, and this bum leg came from a guy that hit my car, then decided to run. And tomorrow will be the first Christmas for my baby girl, and the first one as a mother for my wife. And I'm not going to break my promise of a Christmas tree to them if it means I got to stand out here all night." He thanked us again as we turned away and moved inside. But that boy, well, he really got to me. I kept watching him through the trees, out of the corner of my eye. And I was listening to some of the things the other folks were saying to him when they came in. I've got to say that sometimes it's really hard for me to be proud of some of my fellow men. Now, this was also the first year my wife and I had been picking out Christmas trees alone. Our youngest moved out over the summer, and the other two and the grandkids had homes of their own. So we were trying to make the best of a new Christmas tradition and hoping to make it bright. But running into that young man changed everything we thought we were in for on that Christmas Eve night. We found our tree. We headed up to pay for a 6-foot Douglas fir. My wife reminded me that last year we had an 8-foot noble, so this year the choice was hers. But when we got up front, that young man came running in best he could with his cane pointed to about a 10-foot tree. He said, "Sir, I have the money now. Would you please take that one outside for me?" We paid the man, took our tree out. I threw it in the truck, backed out and turned to go. That's when my headlights hit that young man with one good leg, dragging that giant tree alongside the road. Before I got a word out, my wife grabbed the wheel and pulled us to the side. I got out and said, "You know it's a shame to drag such a pretty tree. Let's throw it in and we'll give you both a ride." I got back in, my wife moved next to me, and the kid jumped up and shut the door. Getting that tree had put a light in that boy's eyes like I'd never seen before. He said, "It's not that far, just up the hill a ways on the right. And thanks again for helping me get this tree and helping me get it home to my girls tonight." He pointed, said, "Turn in here, through them gates, and pull up under that light." That's when our tears came and our hearts broke, as I pulled through them big old iron gates and under that cemetery sign. When I stopped the truck, we looked out. There were 2 freshly covered graves. The stone on one said loving mother, and on the other it said, here a little angel is laid. The kid jumped out and shouted, Merry Christmas, girls. He dug that big old tree out and stood it on the ground. He said, I told you I'd bring home a Christmas tree, and these are some brand new friends I found. And then he saw our tears, said, you know, I cried a lot too at first. Then I found out what Christmas really means. It means that one day, me and my girls are going to celebrate together. But for now, it's up to you and me. So we stayed a while, helped them sing some songs, and then the snow started to fall. It was time for us to go, so we wished him Merry Christmas. Wished a Merry Christmas to them all. On the ride home that night, my wife and I agreed we'd never feel sad again if we didn't see our kids on Christmas Eve. From now on, all we'll be able to remember is the joy on all of our kids' faces when they all got to see their first Christmas tree.